Right, hello everyone. Welcome to round 4 OTLR Division 1. I know I'm not Corey, I sound quite different. I am usually on the grid, but today I am doing commentary to help fill in. I am joined by Lanky, just as I was yesterday. If you were caught on yesterday, we had a wet qualifying. Will it be the same today? If so, that'll be very interesting. I came prepared this time. Here are the driver standings, currently led by Myth of 49 points. The driver below is no longer racing, so that means Glitched is pretty much P2 in the standings, so it's Rebel 1, 2, and then Bossmos P3. Moving on to the driver standings, just like Division 2, Red Bull is currently leading, followed by McLaren on 66 points, only one away from Corey's favourite number. Just as a reminder, here is the track map, a very short track, really hard to overtake, 14 turns, 2.7 miles. I predict pole to be in the low 14s, potentially the high 13s. We'll be seeing sooner or later as we get into the qualifying. And just for a reminder of the calendar, we'll be around Singapore today. Next week will be around Melbourne, which has a pretty much a higher chance of rain there than it does here. So as long as Dr. Steel doesn't curse anything, it should be a dry running for the rest of the, the calendar, I think. I don't think there'll be raining that much. Maybe Monza, like Silverstone. But yeah, as we go into it, we'll go on to the racing, as I hope you can see the screen. And I also hope you can hear Lanky.
Yeah,
'Cause,
hopefully yeah, apparently they couldn't yesterday, could they? In
uh,
quality anyway.
yeah, I think they could. I think it was when you was, I don't know, sorting out the grid or something for it.
Yeah, during the grid and I was quiet.
And I got the sound of my headset being low on charge. This is not good. I was literally just charging it for like 30 minutes. Right. Who is the first one on the grid? It is Bossmos. He's going to be the first driver to try and set a time. Will their banker laps be quicker than Division 2 pole? We shall see. Obviously, it's dry at the very start. It doesn't look like it's going to be wet, which I'm sure some of these drivers will enjoy.
Yeah, especially at this track.
What are your predictions for this race? Do you think it's going to be another Red Bull win, or do you think we'll see someone else take the checkered flag today?
I mean, both the Red Bull guys here are really been racing really strong for the first few rounds, Smith and Glitch. So either of them could be in there for the taking. So yeah, I'd say it should be a a decent points haulage at least for the Red Bulls.
Moss and exit sector 1 at 26.7. See what time he'll be saying for the benchmark for the other drivers to try and set. Oh, went over that curb. Had a bit of air time, but it seems to be going well still. If that was me, I probably would have spun around and landed on a wall, just like some drivers yesterday during quali. But so far, it looks like a really strong lap from Bosmos. Comes towards the final turn now. What will it be? Will it be better than Division 2 pole yesterday? Will his banker run? Crosses the line, and it's going to be a 15-1. I think, who is that next? That is one of the Alpines of TTV Vide, I believe. Crosses the line, 15-3, not that far back from Bosmos. Righty goes P3, must have made a mistake during his lap, 118. Not relative to the time he can set, so he's probably going for another lap. What can Marius do? I believe he's got Bobo just ahead of him. PW Jones goes P4, Bobo goes P2 for 15-1. Marius misses out by pole by not that much. It's really close between the top three. What can the Williams of Huff and Dobak do as he comes towards the final turn now? Running the new Williams livery, crosses the line for P4. These are really close times between the drivers. What can Adam do? Adam set a 53.7 for Sector 2. Can he try and break into the top 5? It's going to be a really close fight to try and get as many positions as you can. The tiniest improvements for any of these drivers is pretty much a position gained. Goes P6 sitting right behind the Alpine, almost getting the identical times to PW Jones. Swifty in the kick goes P4. What can Jezza do? Jezza is on a slow lap. What about Lorenz Patton? Is he on a lap? I believe he is, but we've got some drivers ahead of him. Myth is about to go and set a time, 53.1, Sector 2. I don't know if that's the quickest so far. No purple sectors in any of the timing sheets. Crosses the line. It must have been a 14.7. Flies past Bosmos this time. And any drivers respond to his lap time. What can Lorenz Patton do? Coming towards the final 2 turns now. Can he try and grab pole, provisional pole from Myth? Crosses the line. F4 loses out by just a tenth for 14.8 for the driver. Don't think anyone else is on a lap currently. Sering Alpaca. No, maybe Jack, is he on a lap? He did have a slow lap with a 120. Same with, I believe, Jezza actually. To see if he's improving. No, he's not. He's unvalidated. So we'll go on board with Jack as he comes towards the end of Sector 1. Is he improving from his last lap time? Yes, he is. 2.2 seconds up so far. And he break into the top 10. The benchmark for that is a 15.4. Had a bit of a slight exit coming out of the chicane there. Don't think he's going to be setting the relative times he can set. Imagine every driver for their final runs to maybe be into the 14s. 3.5 seconds up. So yeah, not gaining as much time as he would have hoped. Probably lost a few attempts coming out of that chicane. It's a very tough track here. You can either win by strategy or qualifying right at the front, and so far Myth is the one that's going to be having that massive advantage over the other drivers. Jack crosses the line. It's looking to be a 16.4, so definitely lost a bunch of time coming out of that final that chicane. Litch using the curbs as much as he can. He hasn't set a time yet. I imagine he'll be up the front with the other drivers like Bosmos, Lorenz and Myth. Can he get ahead of his teammate? His teammate throughout the season has been the more dominant driver. Purple Sector 2 with a 53 flat. Final 2 corners now. What can he do? Can he get better than a 14.7? Or will he fall short? About to find out. Crosses the line. Grabs provisional pole by just a tenth. A really strong lap from him. Is Bosmos on a lap? I think he is. Let's go on board with him. Everyone else is either in the pits, on the in lap, or on their out lap. So Bosmos the only one that's currently going to be crossing the line to set a time. He has to find a few tenths if he wants to gain any more positions. So far, a tenth and a bit. Improving his time, but by the looks of it, he's staying P4. Still, it's almost a sector and a half to go. Three tenths up now. Lorenz Patton retires in the pit, comfortable for 14.8. Bosmos is looking to put Lorenz Patton further down the grid. Really close between P4 all the way down to pretty much P13. Fewest of attempts would help these drivers. What can Bosmos do as he crosses the line? A 14.6 sits behind Glitch by only a few hundredths of a second. I don't think he's going to be very happy with that by losing out by just that tiny margin. Mario's about to cross the line. It's going to get a tow from the Red Bull driver. He goes P4 with a 14.8. What about Bobo? Bobo's a 10th.5 up. He is looking for a 15 flat. TTV Vide gets ahead of Bobo, but Bobo will be jumping ahead in a matter of seconds as he's about to cross the line to improve by 2 tenths to get back ahead of TTV Vide. And that is going to be a nice lap from him. I believe it is one of the Williams drivers. Yep. Got Huff and Doback. He is 3 tenths up, almost 4 tenths up. Currently sat on a 15.3. If he keeps up at this pace, he might be able to jump into the top 5. It's all depending on these exits for this final corner. See what he can do. Bowie has really strong qualifying pace, manages to be consistent, crosses the line to grab P6, misses out by just under a 10th. What about PW Jones? No, we've got Ratty ahead of him, I believe. Or is it Marius? No, not Marius. Who can we look at? PW Jones, he's on a lap, I believe. Or is he? I have no clue. Let's stay on board with him just in case he is. He's got Swifty in the kick salver behind. He's onto the pits. What about Swifty? Swifty's about to cross the line. 15.2 for him. Can he improve? Let's have a look. Improves this, but just not enough. Ratty goes P5. Falls behind his teammate by only a slight margin. What about Sering Alpaca? Sering Alpaca's going to have to improve. For 15.8 is not a relative time to compare to the rest of the grid. He's going to have to get a move on if he wants to improve. Well, Jez is just starting his lap. Sering Alpaca is on a slow lap, probably looking to go again. Cooper Fan finally joined me. There's one driver left to join the qualifying session. We'll see if he's able to be certain in time. On board with Jezza, he's just ahead. He's not improving. And he's invalidated, so that'll be his run over. What about Jack? Is Jack going to be improving from his lap? You imagine so, 16.4. Only a 10th up, he is invalidated. So this is a track that Jack's definitely not enjoying. Is Adam on a lap? No, he comes into the pits alongside Swifty and I'm guessing Ratty. Yeah, imagine so. Glitch 10 on about to set his first lap. Has got, or his second lap. Has got traffic ahead of him. Should have a good enough distance to not get impeded by any of them. Currently sat on provisional pole, but only just a small margin. He's going to be looking to improve even more if he wants to try and keep that top spot. Has an Alpine ahead of him. Glitch 10's not improving. Needs to find time if he wants to try and keep this provisional pole. Osmos right behind him, I imagine, will displace Glitch 10 and drop him down to P2. As he spins and well, has a mild spin, and that is going to be pretty much his lap time over. Hopefully he can recharge and go again. Sering Alpaca is going to set a time, or is just set a time of 15.6. That is only a small improvement from where he was, and I don't think that's going to be enough. What can Bosmos do? Only a margin amount of time is split between him and Glitch 10. It's pretty close qualifying, don't you think, Lanky, from all over the grids?
Yeah, it is really tight for the starting laps. Obviously, expect that to tighten up a little bit more in these final runs.
Do we also think this track is the type of track you go for a double outlap?
I mean, if you didn't, yeah, if you were cautious, like obviously you don't want to send it too much with the amount of corners because they're going to get pretty warm pretty quick anyway. So, but. Oh, I just saw that's an invalidation.
Sorry for the sudden swap. My headset died, so I had to switch screens. Right, I am back. This is for real this time. Who is on a lap that we can have a look at? Myth takes provisional pole. We totally missed that. He's ahead by just under a tenth. Is Marius on a lap? He's got his teammate behind. Hopefully he doesn't cost his teammate too much time. They are split by only a few milliseconds. Ratty is on a lap. So Marius gets out the way.
We've got Cooper putting his first lap. We're coming to the end of the second sector on his first lap.
3-6 in sector 2. I don't think it's going to be a relative time. It is 6 tenths slower than the quickest sector 2 we've seen so far. But he definitely has the pace to probably break into that top 5. Is
He's
he
gonna
into
go
the
in.
pits? I guess not.
Yeah. He's not happy with it.
Ratty set the fastest sector 2, I think. Unless they still haven't fixed that. Probably still haven't fixed it based on what I've seen from EA. But Ratty goes into the pit, so obviously he's not comfortable with his lap either. What about Jezza? Jezza is
just
not on a
enough
lap.
time for them to go in.
Jack is the first one out for his final run. Has he timed this correctly, or will he be facing traffic? Did someone sub in the Twitch chat? I have no clue then.
I'm not seeing anything. If it was before I joined.
Oh yeah, Vintrix Racing. Oh, no, he followed. Never mind. Or someone subbed for a second. No clue. Right. Jezza is on a lap. Is he improving? Needs to find a bunch more time. 3 attempts minimum if he wants to gain any positions. Same with Jack. He is falling back quite a bit. 16.4. Jezza is improving by not enough, but improving by half a tenth.
As I was saying earlier, they're both the Red Bulls at the moment in P1 and P2.
Yeah. So far,
Just
Myth
something with the
always
Red
seems.
Bulls at the minute.
Yeah. Myth, obviously, the one that's usually on top for the Red Bulls. Hopefully, with this final lap, Glitch can respond to his teammate. I think Myth has been the better qualifier this season so far. 2 attempts was the improvement of Jezza. Didn't improve in any positions. What about Saring Alpaca, or is Sarah Williams ahead of him, I believe? Yeah, Huff and Doback. He is improving by just under a tenth. That is currently, I think, good enough to gain P6. Especially with a sector and a half to go. Has got a Red Bull ahead of him. They get out the way. He rides that curve perfectly. You see how much he'll be improving in sector 2. Tiny margins are all it is for these drivers to gain positions. Especially if you're near the front pack. What can Huff and Doback do in sector 2? A tenth and a half up. So far he is looking to gain P6. But he's invalidated. And that's going to be his run over. Let's go on board with Saring Alpaca, who's the one that's behind him. He's also invalidated. So that will be devastating for him as well. Currently sitting P15. Ollie, I believe this is his debut, I think. I'm not sure. He's improving by 4 attempts. So is going to jump up right up to P10, maybe even more, definitely more, 5 tenths up. So see what he can do in the final 3 turns. He is looking to get ahead of TTV Vide, maybe ahead of the 3 ahead of him if he can improve in these final few corners. We'll stay on board for the final corner. Huff and Doback set his time. He is done. He might drop back further down the grid as Ollie comes to set a time. Goes P5, splits the McLaren, and that was a really good lap from him. Who is next to set a time? Is it Adam in the Haas? Yes, it is. Improving by a tenth and a half. Goes P7. Next is Bossmos. He wasn't improving in Sector 2. What can he do for Sector 3? Can he jump ahead of any more positions? Improves, but it wasn't enough. What about Swifty? Swifty isn't improving. Cooper Fan only sets a 15.5. That's not going to be good for him. What about Marius Anderson? He's not improving. How about Ratty? Is Ratty improving? No, he invalidated. So Ratty is going to be down in P7. What about his teammate? Can the McLarens do anything to respond to this? What would have been a good qualifying, but it turns out to not be such a good qualifying. Marius needs to cross the line. Doesn't improve, so not as good as a qualifying as you probably would have hoped. Glitch 10 about to take provisional pole over his teammate for a 14.3. What can Myth do? Myth is invalidated, so that would be the time set. Glitch 10 takes provisional pole. Myth failing to do so by invalidating on his final run and has to sit on a 14.5, which is going to be devastating for him because the main fight for the title, with Leon now out of the equation, is between the two Red Bull teammates. So you're going to see some tough fighting. So that is it for the grid. It is Glitch 10 in the provisional pole. He grabs an extra point over his teammate who's currently falling short, getting P2 by 2 tenths on a 14.5. Bossmos doing well to get P3. Same with TTV Vide. P4, Bobo, P5, Marius and Ratty, the two McLarens, the two drivers you would have thought would have been up on the grid, falling back to P6 and P8. Obviously not having the qualifying they would have thought. You got Adam in P9, Lorenz P10, and that is it for your top 10 in qualifying. As we now go to a brief intermission while we will get the grid set up. Let's look in the chat to see if anyone says anything about that qualifying session. Right, as we now go back to the lobby restart, all the drivers will be crashing pretty quickly, I hope.
It's hammering down. Like,
Hopefully it's like that in
is
the
that in the
actual
race?
race. Please, yeah.
Yeah, it is very wet.
As expected, the person that created the rule is the one to go the longest. Yep, no. Still failing to crash out. Oh, is Jezza disconnected? Is that his AI or is he? No, he's going into the wall now. Gee, Christ. Well, if it rains in the race, that'll be pretty fun. If Doctor Steele's
Yeah.
watching, he'll be beating himself up over that because I know he's won in the race, and if he's not here for the race, that'd be pretty funny. Right. So for once, Glitched doesn't take P1 in the lobby restart. That goes to Bossmos. 6 points in the in the lobby restart standings.
Right. Let's get these settings done.
Actually, qualifying was it was quicker this time round from yesterday. I mean, yesterday I guess it was raining, so I mean that wouldn't
Yeah,
count
they
on.
had mixed, didn't they? But
I
it was
meant like
quite
the
sunny
time
for
I
them
meant like
today.
the time it finished. I think we finished
Oh,
around
like,
8. We
yeah.
finished around like 8:30. I guess we did have some late joiners. Now, since I am not racing today, I would like to say if it rains, that would be an absolute blast, and that would be a joy to watch. Everyone is getting ready now, and we shall be lights out in a few moments' time.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Who do we think will come out on top? Will it be the Red Bulls, or will it be someone completely different?
Controversial Red Bull moment. Oh, it's dry.
It's not even looking a bit
Sound
grey as well.
disappointed.
You know what? No, lobby restart. We're making it wet. Lobby restart. Make it wet. You want to do lights out, or should I?
You can if you want. Have you got any lines that you want to use?
You know what? Let me. Yeah, I have 1 minute. Five lights, the calm before the storm. No, can't do that. I don't know. That's too embarrassing. Never mind. I'm using that one. I'm gonna use this one. All right. I got one. I got one. Oh, for 1 minute past schedule. I think some of these drivers are
Yeah.
scared to press ready. Actually, we're still on the intermission screen. What am I doing? Maybe I should switch over to the actual race scene so they can actually see the race start. That would be pretty embarrassing if we did race start. Oh, okay. Alright, and 5 lights. Those lights will disappear. They will no longer be red. And bit of a delayed start, but we're about to go. Who's going to get the jump? 2 different Red Bull liveries. Who's going to have the better start? Will it be glitched? Will it be Myth? Already yellow flags into before turn 1. It's looking like Myth is going to be staying P2 for now, or maybe not. Still side by side, these drivers are. The Alpine goes off. Swifty jumps up to P4. And he's had a really good run. Is he P4? What's going on? There's still a bunch of drivers ahead of him. Osmos is in P3. I think something's... Have I disconnected? Nope. Okay, never mind.
No,
That was weird.
they were just bunched coming through there.
Okay, I was going to say, no. Swifty is not P4. He jumped down to P11. Lorenz up to P5. Okay, that was a bit of a weird start. Typical from EA, but we are back on it.
No, glitched, getting away nice and clean.
8 attempts.
For a little bit of time, yeah.
Ratty falling back to the 2 Alpines and possibly the Williams, but manages to edge just about ahead, gets ahead of Huff and Dobak. He has dropped down a place or 2 since the start of this race in lap 1. Rich 10 grabs the fastest lap of the time, being the first one to cross the start-finish line. What about Ollie? Ollie chasing down his teammate, gets ahead up to P7. Really close fight between the 2 Alpines and the Williams. What about Swifty? It's still really close between the drivers, going too wide coming into what I believe is turn 3. Currently sits P11 out of the points just for now. Osmos still chasing down Myth. This track is pretty difficult to overtake, so we might see this grid as it is for maybe a few laps until everyone appears. Thank you, Will Buxton. You're welcome. What's the quote I used yesterday? Speed reward. Formula 1 rewards speed, and that's why Sering Alpaca is starting at the back. I think it's something like that. It's currently 15th, followed by Jack. Not the best of qualifying runs compared to last season. Sering Alpaca claiming P3 in Baku, with what it was a great lap from him. Lorenz pattern making moves, gets ahead of Marius up to P4. Can he stay ahead? Who's got better ERS? These look pretty equal between it. It's just about who's going to be more brave on the brake. So far, Lorenz has that line. How long will he be able to keep it for? Gets ahead of Marius for now. Marius drops down to P5. Glitch 10 wasn't able to utilize any of his pace and form a gap. Still only 5 tenths ahead of his teammate. How does the game audio compared to my voice sound on stream for anyone watching? Do I need to turn it down or is it fine? Oh,
It's
Boss
fine.
Moss has spun it! He's in the wall! He's dropping down! Would that be a safety car? Boss Moss dropping down. He manages to keep it going, but it's dropped down to P17. I don't know what happened there. Maybe he just clipped the grass, but he has spun, which means he is off the track and in the wall. I imagine he's going to be picked up. So yeah, he's got that front wing damage. Major front wing damage, might I add. So he might be into. He's definitely going to be into the pit to change that. That puts Lorenz up to P3 and Marius P4. Everyone's gained a position while Bosmos has dropped down and is now 7.5 seconds behind Jezza in the Haas.
Yeah, that will almost certainly mean Bosmos is going to have to two-stop.
That spin from Bosmos has sort of slowed everyone down as well, as some gaps were starting to form.
Oh, another one.
Oh, who is that? That is Adam. Adam's off in the wall. He managed to get away with any damage, so he's lucky there. But as I was saying, that spin from Bosmos has seemed to slow down the entire pack, and sort of to like the pack is starting to form together. Bosmos is about to almost fall out of DRS, but right now we've got a massive train from P1 down to P15, so...
Yeah, very close. Just look at it. Other than the couple of guys who made a mistake, everybody is pretty much in the DRS of the car ahead.
As we have another yellow flag, that is Jezza, the two Haas drivers.
That's Ollie.
Oh no, it's out. Ollie's in the wall. He manages to keep on going, so not even 5 laps in, we had 3 drivers into the wall.
I think he's completely lost that front wing. The nose, yeah.
Yeah, he has,
no wing at all.
Yeah. It's unfortunate for him. He might be in the pit to either change that or to retire. We can only guess. He can still definitely bounce back into this race. Only 5 laps in with 30 to go. Ratty's falling back quite a bit, almost out of the DRS of the Alpine driver. He wants to try and stay within that 1 second, to try and be within that undercut range for when it comes to the time. I imagine that is what most drivers will do to gain some positions. What do we think about the two Red Bulls working together in this race? I mean, those two are the main contenders for the title. Do you think they're going to be fighting all out? Or do you think there's going to be some sort of teamwork going on?
They might have to. If they want to try and break away from the guys behind. I mean, Smith isn't putting too much of a threat onto Glitched yet. But yeah, I'd imagine Glitched on his battery is going to start to struggle soon to defend him. So they might be worth using the slingshot for a couple of laps.
Yeah. As we got another yellow flag, who is that for? Is that for the Haas driver again? I believe so. Adam gets back ahead of his teammate after spinning, so... With this big DRS train, I doubt we'll see any moves for a few laps.
Oh, that's the McLaren gone? Marius.
Yeah, that is Marius missing his entire front wing. Well, both front wings. Well, both sides of his wing. He's dropping down to P9, so after what was pretty devastating quali is turning into a devastating race for him, and he would definitely be into the pits to go and change that front wing, so he will be definitely going for that 2-stop as well, which would definitely stir some things up, and in doing so has caused Steering Alpaca damage! Him slowing down has caused Steering Alpaca to go right into the back of him, and he's now missing his front right wing, which is going to be even more devastating for Steering Alpaca, because I'm sure he would have went for the 1-stop, so I can imagine he is fuming at this current time, and he would definitely be looking for the stewards to try and get that sorted. That was a pretty... Well, that's going to be race ruining for him. Hopefully he can bounce back from losing his front wing. Glitched again is almost outside of that DRS range from his teammate, but I think he might stay within it just to help him, because he is under threat from the Ren's pattern. He's currently Red Bull 1-2 and a 3-4 for Ferrari. Yet Sergio Alpaca comes into the pits alongside Marius Anderson after colliding with each other. So far, it's been a very, very intense first 10 laps of this race. We had 3 people spin, had 2 extra had major wing damage. Well, I think 3 had major wing damage in total. As is Bosmos going to be able to get back ahead of Marius? He will not be able to. He will be pretty close. Another yellow flag. Who is that? Is that Jezza? Yeah, it is. He has spun around again. Definitely not enjoying his time around this track.
No, it's certainly claiming its victims tonight.
Still, second spin,
no damage,
not damaged though. Yeah. So the Ren's pattern is falling out of DRS from the 2 Red Bulls. How long will it be before the Red Bulls now fly away? Ratty comes in for an early pit stop. Maybe just cooked up his tyres a bit too much. Myth finally gets ahead. Goes a bit wide on exit. Now we see the gaps start to form. Ratty comes out at P12. I imagine he will stay P12. I don't think the drivers behind are close enough just yet. Bobo gets ahead of Lorenz Patton. Gets P3. If he can manage to stay P3, I believe that will be his first podium of the season, which will be really good for him in the driver standings. Seems to be very comfortable around this track, had a good qualifying, and so far he seems to be having a really good race. However, the gap between the cars ahead is 2 seconds, so I imagine we're just going to see a ping pong effect of him and Lorenz changing places every time they get to that main DRS straight. I think
one person that is in a good place at the minute is TTV Vide, there in 5th. He's just had a look, he's the only one out of the top 11 that's on the hard tyres, so this will be the point where he should start seeing the benefit from that.
We're having much earlier pit stops than yesterday, so maybe the 2 stop is favoured for these drivers. Glitch 10 into the pits alongside Bobo. So Bobo will be looking to undercut Myth to see if he can get it done. Is Myth going to respond to these drivers pitting early, or will he commit to that 1 stop? It worked out for Ty Clear yesterday. Can any of these drivers repeat that and make it work? Jezza comes into the pits to retire. 16 drivers remain in this race. Who is the closest fight? Marius Anderson or Sergio Alpaca? These two had the little moment that caused Sergio Alpaca damage. Sergio Alpaca is not going to be friendly when it comes to fending off Marius Anderson. Fighting for 13th, no points, but well, finishing higher is always better. For those of you that didn't know, finishing in a high position in Formula 1 means you score more points than the drivers that were slower than you. Myth comes into the pits. TTV Vide stays out for now. So does Huff and Doback, PW Jones, and imagine a few other drivers. Is Bob... Who is it? Who was it that pitted first? It would have been... no, it would be Glitch 10, I think, taking the provisional lead this race. TV Vide is actually on the hard tyres. It worked out yesterday for some drivers. I believe JB was able to do really well starting on the hard tyres. I think he pitted around lap 20. Let's see if this driver can do the same thing today. As the gaps start to form just a bit. Myth has been undercut by Ratty. So he's going to be having to make some moves. I definitely think it's going to be a 2-stop by the looks of some of these drivers.
Yeah, Glitch has managed to get a car between him and Myth now. For him to just start trying to edge away.
Marius Anderson still stuck behind Sering Alpaca.
Bobo and Adam side by side as we go into the hairpin. I think Bobo gets a move. Yeah, he gets it done around the outside.
Good move from Bobo. Lorenz Patton also gets ahead of Adam as well for a Ferrari 10 and 11th. Now the gap.
Both the kicks together.
Yeah, they're doing well. P4, P5. Cooper starting from near the back. Imagine those two drivers will be on for the one stop as well. I think yesterday the one stop was around lap 15, right? I mean, unless you're the KFC bloke, obviously, but.
Yeah, I think it was around that. Ty stopped around then.
Glitch 10 now has managed to get a 2-car gap to his teammate. Imagine those two drivers behind him will be holding up Myth quite a bit. Marius falling back now from Sering Alpaca, dropped back to 2 seconds. Something might have happened between those two, but still no points for either of them. Ratty looking to get ahead of Jack. I think Jack is already pitted, so it's a fight for position. Doesn't seem to be fighting it too much. Manages to get ahead. Can Myth also try and get ahead? Yes, he does. He's been overtaken twice in the same small little straight, and now fallen back to P9, and is already out of DRS, so should at least get it for this straight. Now, if Myth wants to remain ahead, he must stay ahead of Ratty, otherwise he'll be losing out on points to his teammates.
Be interesting to see how long Vide goes on the hards as well if he's looking at the one stop, because I'd imagine he'd want to go to around 20 before going to the mediums.
Well, he needs to have this one mindset. Every lap means a lap closer to the end of this race, as he actually has a bit of a slide coming out of that corner. So maybe you're already starting to struggle as Glitch 10 gets ahead of Cooper and is now trying to chase down Swifty.
Yeah, that front left doesn't look too friendly on Vide.
Myth manages to also get ahead of Cooper. So Ratty not as doing as well as he would have hoped for, still staying in the same position he is when he pitted, has been unable to defend from Myth, and has now got to try and get past Cooper Fan. Cooper Fan falling back quite a bit, so Ratty is losing a chunk of time here as Glitch is just gaining positions again. He is now up into P4 and has some clean air to chase down PW Jones. Oh, who is that? Ratty and Cooper collide.
Ratty.
Cooper has a bit of a spin, holds up Lorenz Patton. Lorenz Patton maybe should be able to get past soon, but they both spin and they both, well, Lorenz is in the wall. Don't know what happened there.
Bobo avoided that.
Yeah, he manages to keep on going.
Yeah.
He's gone off track, which
From
means
Bobo.
yeah, that is it's unlucky there. Cooper Fan is able to stay where he was. Lorenz falling back by quite a bit. We had a few drivers go off track too many times. We've now got the first few off track penalties. So Lorenz Patton comes into the pit. We have a yellow flag. Is that Adam? There is a slow car on the main straight. Lorenz Patton pits to retire. Sering Alpaca doing well to gain positions. Well, as to say that, he actually loses out to Adam, so not really if I if I have to re-say what I think. Well, Glitch 10 catching quite a bit, his teammate not doing well to catch up to him. PW Jones is on the mediums looking to probably pit this lap or next lap. The fact that everyone's done the 2-stop, he might be able to have an advantage here over the majority of these drivers if there isn't a safety car and he can manage his tyres to the end. As something has happened to Adam, Adam is off. He has no damage somehow and manages to keep on going, but drops down all the way to P14. Ollie manages to get ahead of him. Well, there's one important thing. The tyres are important for TTV Vide because without them, he won't be able to drive. And as the KFC bloke saw yesterday, if you don't have any tyres, you will end up spinning and won't be able to continue with this race. Vitch 10 is flying through this grid. Still, his teammate is in within the DRS. Looking to get along the inside and overtake Huff and Duback. Doesn't for now, stays behind. He's going to have to probably stay behind for the next couple of corners. Right, he gets a 3-second penalty, which means he went off the track somewhere.
It's a Ferrari, the other Ferrari, that Bobo, has spun it on the chicane. Back going, I don't think he got any damage, hit anything, he just dropped it on the chicane.
So he will probably be looking to pit pretty soon then. I don't know if the actually I don't think so. I don't think the mediums will go to the end. So Bobo's definitely going to have to rethink his strategy. Myth and Glitch both get ahead of the Williams as he actually comes into the pit. And it is now a 2-3 for the two Red Bull drivers. Need to do some catching up if they want to pass TTV Vide, who's doing really well on those hard compound tyres. I imagine he will go an extra 4 laps. We have another yellow flag. Who is that? Is that Bosmos? Bosmos is in the wall.
Bosmos
Has
is
made
right,
as a virtue. There's a safety car. There's a safety car. This is great for TTV Vide. He's gonna come out and he's gonna be right in that top 5. So for the drivers that went for the 2-stop, all of a sudden this is not looking good for them. If they didn't go for that harder compound of tyre, they're gonna have to probably rethink their strategy, and it's probably gonna cost them quite a bit.
Vide can get that stop early now though. Just not take too much out of the mediums until the safety car restart.
Well, you know, what's the saying? The safety car is the slowest car in motorsports, unless we're talking about Sid. But the drivers should be able to bunch back up and be able to see some more fighting on track. Bobo goes onto the mediums. This has actually probably worked out perfectly for him. He comes out and is still in the lead, yeah.
With everybody else stopping, Vide has still got the track position now.
Yeah, but he is going to have the disadvantage of those medium tyres, as I don't know if this was... I think he might have pitted like a lap or 2 early. It does allow drivers like Steering Alpaca, Marius to gain some more positions. There's actually, I've only just noticed, did Ratty and PW Jones pit? Because Myth has fallen back quite a bit. Ratty has, PW didn't. He's only on 2 lap hards. So Myth has lost a position in the pits, probably from the double stack with his teammate, I imagine, because if you double stack, you will have to wait for the drivers to get their tyres on, and then you'll be next.
Yeah, that's probably most likely what's happened there. He's had a delay because he's had to wait for Glitch to get out and then the pit crew to sort themselves out with his tyres. That's another couple of seconds.
You know, if I'm being honest, I think TTV Vide might actually have the advantage here because he pit on lap 17. And imagine this safety car will come in maybe lap 20, possibly lap 19 if drivers can catch up in time. So he might have planned his strategy perfectly here.
Yeah, he's just got to not take too much out of the mediums on the safety car laps and the warm-up with having them on a little bit earlier. But if he can put the laps down why he's got the advantage over the hards, then he could be in a decent spot to fight it.
I would like to thank Corey for clipping that. I just saw that. It cuts off perfectly. Alright. Do we think TTV Vide will be the surprise podium of this race, or do you think someone else should grab it?
Quite possibly. I won't count Jonesy out though.
He is
He's
he has got the race intelligence.
strategy.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
I've been hearing a lot about his game knowledge or race knowledge, and he is on the hards. That's the only disadvantage TTV Ride has right now. I imagine the safety car will be in this lap since the grid is pretty much all bunched up now. That Ferrari just needs to do a bit more catching up to do. As I think it should be called in now. Yep, it will be. So we're about to see the lobby restart. Everyone's swerving, apart from TTV Vide. Unlike yesterday, there's no 10-second penalties for colliding. No, unlike that might not have been yesterday. I don't know. The race before probably. But that is something that can happen quite a bit. When will he go? That is the question. Is he going to leave it late? He's actually gone now. That was a bit of an earlier. That might have caught Glitch 10 off guard a bit. He did gain a tenth and a bit coming out of that corner. And I think he's timed this perfectly and should comfortably stay ahead. He is on that fresher, softer compound of tyre compared to Glitched and stays ahead coming into turn 1. Swifty able to get ahead of the Williams driver, or is he? Let's have a look as they come down to turn what I believe is 2. Can Swifty keep that position? Has that inside line. Does turn into the outside line, but manages to make it stick before they reach that point. Is there any more overtakes that are going to occur? Marius down in P13 wasn't able to make any moves. So far, he is not having the best of races. Tearing Alpaca up into P10 has a 3-second penalty, though. It's going to have to build up the pace. TTV Vide has already gained 1.2 seconds on the rest of the drivers. So he has had an amazing restart. Definitely caught Glitch 10 off guard.
Yeah, he needs to pump those laps in if he can keep them out of DRS. For any shot, maintaining the lead when their mediums fall off.
Yeah. You know, all the young drivers, they always take the mick out of the unks for having slower reaction times. But that reaction time of Glitch is what cost him this time out, and is now falling back from that Alpine by quite a margin, and is now going to be under threat by Ratty and PW Jones when this safety car comes along. Not safety car, when the... What am I saying? I don't know what I'm saying anymore, I'm lost. When the end of this race comes, Cooper gets ahead of Staring Alpaca. Myth yet to make any moves. Cooper fan fighting the Aston Martin. Goes a bit wide, but should still have that line to get ahead. Jack being under threat from Staring Alpaca goes alongside on the outside. Can he? I don't think he'll be able to make the move stick. About to have a wheel lock, but still able to keep it clean. We have some pretty hard racing between these drivers. Jack goes a bit wide again. It's now under threat from Ollie. Ollie is still wheel to wheel with him. Jack is losing places left, right and centre. And it's now P12. What about Ratty? Can Ratty get ahead of Glitch 10? DRS is activated this lap, which means he can use his rear wing to get past. All it will have to do is just open the flap. The air will go through it and he would gain some top speed. Let's see if he can make it work. I think 4 attempts is the gap that they would need to make an overtake. He's 5 attempts back. If Glitch 10 is safety DRS, he might be able to stay ahead. And now it's not looking like Ratty's making any decisions. Stays behind in P3. However, being P3 is always better than being P2 because it means you're on the podium and you haven't lost out in the win. I think I've heard that quote somewhere. I could be completely wrong, but Ratty now 4 attempts, 3 attempts behind Glitched. With that DRS, with Ratty, Glitched without DRS, Ratty should be able to make a move easily if he can stay behind. So for the two McLarens not having the best of races.
Right, but Vide isn't sort of making the grounds he did on the opening laps now. It's sort of holding it the 2.5 this lap.
Which is kind of expected as his tyres degrade and the people on the hard tyres start to get into temperature. So I imagine in the next lap or so, he will be able to, or he'll be losing time. As will Ratty be able to make any moves on Glitched? If he's brave enough, he will make a move for the inside. Looks for the outside actually. Tries to make a move around the outside, but watches wide, and that's what happens when you make a risky move. It's risky, and he can't make the move. It stays P3 for now. All this fighting, and they're still able to catch up to Vide. So maybe that safety car is probably going to be either a really good thing for Vide or a really bad thing. We shall see. He will not have that many laps left. As Adam's actually fallen back, another yellow flag in Sector 1. He's able to keep on going. Swifty almost about to lose out to DRS. To PW Jones, half a tenth is the gap. Manages to just gain a bit of time coming out of the chicane. Myth is going to have to do some catching up. 1.5 is the gap between him and Ratty. What will Glitch do? Will he cost time to the leader and try and help his teammate, or is he going to push to try and claim back that lead? The fight is between the two Red Bulls. So if Glitch wants to stay ahead, he's definitely going to have to remain ahead of Ratty. He doesn't. Ratty seems to be like struggling on the straights. Maybe he went for a higher downforce setup or something.
Yeah, I'm sort of thinking the same thing with Vide as well. Watching the time, Vide makes up some time in the middle sector.
There's debris everywhere. Who is that? Huffin Doback has major front right wing damage. Falls back
the Alpine.
Oh, well, I heard something. What was that? That's Ollie. No, that's the Mercedes. That Bosmos? Yeah, Bosmos goes off track. Washes a bit wide. Hasn't got any damage, luckily.
Oh, Alpine is it was the Alpine Ollie and Staring Alpaca.
Oh, what is going on? Yep, Staring Alpaca. I don't think that was a very clean move from him. Spun out Ollie. Ollie retires on track, which I highly recommend against. That is going to be something the stewards will definitely be looking at later on. But, yeah. Well, yeah, okay.
Didn't look the friendliest, did it?
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes it's just, you know, yeah, well.
It's racing. It's
racing. Even if it is a bit, you know, controversial from Staring Alpaca, I wouldn't recommend retiring like that, as it's not going to look good on you. Huff and Doback into the pit to change that front wing, I imagine. Glitch 10 now, 4 attempts is the gap between him and TTV Ride. How many laps will it be before he tries to make a move? 3 DNFs out of the way. Hopefully we don't see any more spins or crashes. However, there is a high chance. Let's go on board with Bobo in the Ferrari chasing down Swifty. Swifty without DRS, falling back from PW by quite a bit. PW just in that no man's land. No DRS or in front or behind.
Glitch now in attack range of Vide.
Another yellow flag.
Ooh,
Who is
yellow.
that? Staring Alpaca and Bosmos. Again, they collide. So, Staring Alpaca not having the cleanest of races. Has that front wing damage again. Every now and then we need a reincarnation, and I think the reincarnation of Sid is turning into Alpaca. Obviously, I'm joking. Don't take offense to that. No one wants to. But yeah, that has not been a very... Oh, as Glitch actually makes a move on Vide. They're still side by side. Vide starting to struggle a bit. Had a bit of a slide coming out of that first turn. Bobo gets ahead of Swifty. Staring Alpaca comes into the pits to retire. So what was a really good qualifying for Bosmos has turned into a really bad one. Comes into the pits and it retires from this race, I imagine. Yep, so 12 drivers left in this race. I imagine the stewards are going to be pretty busy today. Let's go on board with Myth. Myth still stuck in P4 currently. Needs to go and chase down Ratty, who I believe has a 3-second penalty. Overtaking requires 2 things, speed and being faster, so Myth really needs to do something on this main straight if he wants to try and gain any positions or gain any more points on his current driver's title lead. So far, he should stay ahead of Glitch for now, but Glitch will be closing in. I think for P3 you get, I think you get 12 points for P4, I'm pretty sure. So 12 compared to Glitch's 25. Ratty gets ahead of TTV Ride as well. All this is going to do is build a gap for Glitch 10. 1.6 seconds is the gap already. The race isn't over until he finishes that line. Still got 9 more laps to go for these drivers. TTV Ride is doing well to stay on the position he is now. Myth is actually struggling to get past, but does eventually do so. If he can stay within that DRS train for those front from 2 to 4, he can still possibly get a podium with Ratty's penalty.
Yeah, still a fair amount of laps though to carry those mediums.
What he would really need is another safety car, but I don't think we'll be getting that. Right. Ratty is now really close to the back of Myth. Vide losing out by a bit. 1.1 is the gap. He's going to have to do some catching up if he wants to claim that podium back from Ratty. He needs to stay within at least 3 seconds within these final few laps. But with those tyres, it's going to be a pretty tough job from him. Swifty is also going to have to do some catching up if he wants to try and gain any more positions. 1.2 is the gap. The rest of the drivers behind him, all with penalties. So I doubt he'll be losing that many positions.
But Myth slowly closing on his teammate.
7 tenths is the gap between Ratty and Myth now, so Myth falling back just a bit.
Yeah, it's nearly down to a second. Vide under pressure from Jones now.
Obo doing well, P6. 3.5 seconds is the gap between the Vide and Ratty now, so we might be able to see some more positions gained for PW. P4 might be on the table. Obo now is actually going to be trying to get ahead of PW. Was on for a really good run. Something must have happened from the safety car to then, as he's now in P6. We definitely have some packs starting to form. The front three, and then from P4 down to P9. Fan gets ahead of Swifty, but he has a penalty, so I don't think he'll be staying where he is. TV Vide pits. Oh no. Well, yeah, that's goodbye for points for him. I feel like he could have went to the end on those tyres, but obviously he maybe not that confidence. Confidence is everything within this race, and that must have been something he was just lacking. Should still be able to stay P10. Imagine with those fresh tyres, even if Adam can get ahead, he'll be able to easily claim that place back, especially with Adam's penalty. At least he'll pick up 1 point. 5 laps left to go. Myth is now chasing down his teammate. It will be a last lap fight between these two drivers. Now they don't have any threat from the drivers behind. They are open to race. We have papaya rules, but I don't know what you would call it for Red Bull.
Yeah, Adam is struggling. Vide's got through.
Well, he's got 4 laps to gain 8 seconds. I don't think he's going to be able to do that. I think it might be P10 for him, which is good news for Jack. He picks up his first points of the season. Marius down in P8, probably not getting as many points as he would have hoped for. Adam comes into the pits. Is it to change tyres or to retire? We shall see within the next 10 seconds. Looking like just to change tyres for now. He has been struggling, so maybe he's tyre wear is just a bit too much. Obo now still chasing down PW. Hasn't been able to make any moves, even without PW having any DRS from the cars ahead. Swifty will be looking to take P6 at this current time unless Bobo picks up a penalty. But if they haven't got a penalty by now, it's looking pretty safe DTV Vide gets a 3-second. He's first of the day, so he would definitely be locked in for P10, even if he's able to just about catch up to Jack by the end of this race. What about Myth? Myth was within that range, wasn't able to make a move. 3 attempts is now the gap. Ratty falling out of DRS. He is going to be locked in for P3 unless PW can somehow gain that time within this next few laps. Superfan in P6, although with a penalty, he's going to be looking to fight for many positions as he can. Started, I believe, no, he didn't start last, actually. He got 15.5, I think. 4 attempts behind Bobo. Is he going to fight him even more, or is it just going to be useless with that penalty he has?
We've got front three all together now for these last couple of laps. Ratty's stayed with them.
So far, this little train at the front is definitely what's maybe keeping Ratty on that podium spot. If he was falling back, I imagine PW would be able to catch up by just a bit. Myth is definitely going to have to try and make some moves. They know they're not under threat from Ratty with that penalty, so I imagine how long the fight will go on for between these two drivers. There's quite a big gap between Glitched and Myth in the standings, so Glitched will only be gaining a few points over Myth. I believe 6, I think. I think that's how many. I would have to double check. I'm not really good at quick maths.
I think you're right, 25 and then, no. Maybe 6.
26.
Making me think about it, I'm questioning it now. Yeah.
He would have gained 8 points because he got pole.
Pole as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you include that one.
Yeah. So 8 points is the point advantage over a Glitch right now, but
There
not
goes
for
Myth
long.
now.
It's Myth gets ahead. Watches a bit
He's
wide.
gone
Can
deep.
Glitch get the switch back? And he does. That was a bit of a crucial move from Myth, going wide, allowing his teammate just to re-overtake him. And now he's got maybe a lap and a half to do the same thing again. DPP Vide gets ahead of Jack. He was doing well to gain that 8-second gap that he had when he came into the pits. I imagine if he didn't come into the pits, he would still probably be able to get P6 at most, I think. Or P7, around there. P6 or... Nope, never mind. 7th or 6th, that's the positions he probably would have been able to finish in. You know what, right?
Yeah,
What
do
is
it
this
that way
world?
round.
What is this world come to where I can't even count? Bobo now is right on the back of PW Jones. Will we see a last lap overtake to gain those extra points? Currently sat in P10. He is looking to grab those 2 extra points from PW. 3 attempts is the gap. He has that space to do it. If he takes that inside line coming into turn 1, he'll be able to get the move done. We shall see as they come towards the start finish straight. DRS wide open for Bobo. Does he go and make the move stick? So far looks to be gaining. PW defending that inside line. Have a bit of a contact moment and stays ahead for now. Still will bang in. PW still ahead. Oh my god, Bobo's on the wall. Oh my god, that was a bit of a jump scare. Falls down to P8. Was P4, P5. That was that was a bit of a scary moment for Bobo. He drops down the order by quite a margin that allows Swifty to potentially get P5 here. Probably even better. I don't think it will be able to. I think P5 for Swifty at most. But Bobo, he is looking to get P7 after what was a hell of a jump. Yeah, alright then. Okay. Well, I don't think Bobo's going to be very happy with that. PW Jones keeping P4 for now. As to come towards the final lap, Glitch 10 is going to be able to take that lead and win the race for crossing the line first. As that is what happens when you're P1, Myth gets P2, Ratty P3, and that is a great race from our drivers. That the overtake from Myth and then going wide into turn 1 is what cost him his race. If that didn't happen, he probably would have won this race. Swifty gets P5, a good result for him. For the Kick team, Bobo P6, best he probably could have done after that massive moment coming into turn 2. But yeah, very interesting race. Huff and Dobak falls down to P11. TTV Vide going to P9 after having to pit again. That safety car was not his friend at the end of the day. And that will be it for round 4 of Hungary and OTLR, which is actually, speaking of the very last lap, Adam goes into the wall. What is he doing? Okay. Is he trying to get disqualified? I don't know. He just went on the grass and had a... What is this guy doing?
Don't ask me. I have no answers for that one.
Well, that was a bit of a delayed end to the race due to a driver sort of trying to be funny, but that is it for this race. Glitch 10 taking the win from P1 to P1. Myth gets P2 to P2. Ratty goes P8 to P3. I think PW Jones might have actually been the driver of the day. I think it might have been. He did get from 14th to 4th. Or would it have gone to... No, it definitely would have been PW that got driver of the day. Able to get from P14 to P4. Really good race from him. As now we end the session with no interviews today. Sorry about that, guys. Next week you'll be back with Corey and Lanky. So yeah, we'll see you then. Hope you've had a good time watching. It was an action-packed race, loads of DNFs, one safety car, which I thought there would have been more of. But yeah, that is a good race from these drivers, and I'll see you next time for Australia.